Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we are going to be going through all of the eyeshadow palettes that I have accumulated over the past few years. Let's get started. My first few palettes that I remember purchasing when I first went to Ulta Beauty, because when Ulta Beauty first opened up, I was very excited because they built one close to my home. So I wanted to check it out and see what it was like. Now, a few of the palettes that I purchased there, I didn't purchase them all at the same time, but I did purchase them on separate occasions. But these were like the first three palettes I remember purchasing. My very first one that I purchased was this NYX Avant Pop 10 Shadow palette. It's like a basic palette. It looks like this. It's got some colors in it. It's got some neutrals in there. It's got black if you want to do smoky. The top is cracked, as you can see. I dropped it on the floor and thought, oh, this is really sturdy. Clearly it's not because of the crack. My next palette that I purchased, I think probably around the same time, maybe a week or so after, is this NYX Off Tropic palette. I saw this online. It's a 10-pan eyeshadow palette. I saw this online and I really loved the colors. And at the time when I purchased this palette, I had red hair. So I thought this was like the perfect palette for my hair because I had red and I had orange and I had yellow. And those were extensions. They were sew-in extensions, the red, orange, and the yellow. So I wanted something that would match my hair. I wanted to match the color of my hair. Anyway, I decided to get this palette to match my hair. And I love the colors. They're more vibrant colors. You got your golds, you got your yellows, orange, red. You got a little pop of purple, and I think that's like a magenta color. And then you got a green and you got a brown. Best of both worlds, right? My next palette that I got was from the brand Essence. It's called Spice Up Your Life. And this is a 16 pan palette. And it looks like this. I mostly used this upper section here for the yellow or the golden color, the brown, the red, the orange, because again, I purchased this palette when I had red hair. So I liked using it for those colors. I have also used these bottom ones too, but mainly these. I think maybe I dipped into this shade once and maybe that one, but this was also a really good palette. Very inexpensive if you wanted to look it up. Same as the NYX one. NYX and Essence are a very inexpensive brand. If you are interested in purchasing any of them, I would highly recommend. The shadows are relatively good quality and you're not spending as much money as you would on regular high-end brand. I'm gonna link all of these eyeshadow palettes below. If you're interested in purchasing any of them, just check my description, and if you're willing to spend the money on some of them, go for it. If you're not, you don't have to. You can spend less money and still get good quality. And that's what I'm showing you today. My next palette that I purchased was from Walmart. You're also going to notice that I keep a lot of my palettes in the original packaging that they come in because I like to keep my palettes relatively clean and germ-free. So for me, keeping it in the original packaging works well for me. There is a YouTuber online. His name is Bretman Rock. And when I saw he did a collab with Wet n Wild, I had to purchase this. It is a 15 shadow eyeshadow palette, and the colors were just really wow out there, and I just had to get it. And as you can see, I used the green shade quite a bit. There's that. You got your golds, you got your browns, you got your pinky, or not pinky, you have your purple shades, you have your red, you have your darker shades, you got the blue, the greens. Very nice. And it was relatively inexpensive. I bought this at Walmart, but I don't know if they sell it at Walmart anymore. You can most certainly check the Wet n Wild website. It may be there, I don't know. Again, like I said, I'm going to link everything below. My next palette that I purchased, I was gonna try to go in order of what I got recent, or what I got in the past to what I got recent, but I think I'm just gonna go out of order. So my next purchase, in a previous haul, I purchased these two palettes. This is the Bambi collection from ColourPop. It is the Flower palette. Flower is the cute little skunk from the movie. And this is basically just a 5-pan eyeshadow palette, all purples with a little pop of white. I love purple, as you already know, and that's why I got this. I thought it was really cute. I have used it a few times already, and the quality is very good. If you were interested in purchasing eyeshadow from ColourPop, I would highly recommend. The quality is not bad, and it is an inexpensive brand as well. The next palette I purchased was this Cherish one, which is also from ColourPop, and it is this also 5-shade palette, and I have not touched it yet because I have not had a chance to wear any of these shades yet. I do have a wedding I will be attending in October, and the color scheme kind of matches this, so I will probably wear this for that. And that is that. Or I might use it sooner. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. My next two palettes are from the brand The Beauty Crop. So I have this Sangria palette and I have this Mojito palette. This was a part of a drink mixology set, and I had the whole set, but I didn't keep it because I think it was a set of 4 or 5 palettes, and I only used these two the most out of the set. So I got rid of them because I didn't want to keep palettes I wasn't going to use. So these were the ones I touched the most. This is not a relatively inexpensive brand, but it is a not so well-known brand, and I would recommend it. The price isn't that bad. I think it's like 25 or even like 28 bucks for a palette, which isn't relatively expensive, but it's up to you if you're willing to spend the money. And this palette is like mostly purples. That's why I bought it, because it's like mostly purples, and then there's that one white shade, but it's mostly like different variants of purple. That little like, that's like maybe like a mauve-y color more so than a purple, and this is more so like a pale color as opposed to the rest. But I liked the colors in this palette, so I kept it. And then in the Mojito palette, can we guess what colors they are? Or if you've seen my one makeup video, you will know that most of the colors are green. Sorry about the yelling in the background, that's my mother. There is one gold shade in here, and the rest are pretty much all different colors of green. I like this palette for if I want to do a green look. I do have a lot of green clothing too, so I kept this for that. My next palette that I received as a gift, my very first YouTube video, I showed this palette off, and I used it I think in a prior video as well, is this Love is Eternal Nightmare Before Christmas eyeshadow palette. There are 12 shades in this palette. Nick bought this palette for me when I had first gotten COVID, and I used it, I forget for what makeup look, but it was one of my makeup videos. I used this palette, and this is what it looks like. So you have some blues, you have purple, you have orange, pink, red, you got some grays and silvers, white, black. It's a pretty nice palette. You know, I'm sorry about the ring light. I am trying my best to show off the palettes to you. My next palette that I got as a gift as well, and I have used this in one of my videos as well, my girlfriend Courtney got, this isn't really like just an eyeshadow palette, but it's an eyeshadow and highlighter palette. So I think last year or the year before for my birthday, my friend Courtney bought me this palette, and it is the Beetlejuice palette. So there are 14 eyeshadow shades and a highlighter, or 2 highlighters, I'm sorry. And the plastic is coming off of this, so I'm gonna try to show you the best that I can. This is what it looks like. The 2 bigger shades are the highlighters and the rest are all eyeshadows. So you have a lot of greens and you got a lot of purple and you got a lot of black and white, because Beetlejuice is mostly like black and white and purple and green. So it works. Those 2 palettes, I will say the quality on them. The Beetlejuice palette, the quality is pretty decent. It is a Hot Topic brand palette, so just pay mind that you get what you pay for. So it's not bad. It's not great quality, but it's not bad quality. But you get what you pay for. It's a pretty decent palette. Same thing for the Love is Eternal palette. It's a decent quality for what you pay for. Just take that in mind before you purchase the palette. The next palette I got was also a gift from my girlfriend Courtney. It is this 18 pan, I think 18? Yeah, I think it's 18 pan palette called In Bloom. And on the inside, this is mostly like pinks and purples and reds, some gold and nude neutral shades. There's a lot of shimmers and mattes in this. I also forgot to mention that most of these palettes that I showed off to you guys are like shimmery shades and mattes. I love a lot more shimmery shades than mattes. I do wear matte shades, but I like to put a shimmer on top of them because I like making it look nice. That is that. My next palette, since it is right next to me, is the Morphe collab with Maddie Ziegler. Maddie Ziegler was on Dance Moms, if some of you do not know her. She is also the main face of Sia, the music artist. She is the main face of her music videos. So if you ever are curious and want to look, go look up most of Sia's songs and you'll see her in the videos. And she's a very good dancer, and she did a collab with Morphe, and I saw the colors, I thought they were really pretty, and I said I had to have it. And I just love how they're like butterflies and different shapes in the pans too. So this is what it looks like. It's a lot of like different colors. You have your pinks, you have your blues, you have your purples, you have your neutral shades that are up here at the top. You got a lot of shimmers, a lot of mattes, and then you got a yellow shade. And I thought this was really pretty. I recreated a look similar to this. Not, funny enough, not with this palette, but I did recreate a look similar to this eye look that is on the palette. I think I did use the blue shade in this palette to recreate that look, but I did also make a look with this palette too, but recently I did a look inspired by this palette. So just wanted to throw that out there. Okay, get this shit in there. There we go. My next palette is the biggest palette that I have here, is the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 Morphe palette. I used this a while ago for my girlfriend Amber's wedding. I have the video somewhere, but yeah, for her wedding I used this palette. And I like to keep the plastic on them as well to preserve them. So this is the palette in all of its glory and what it looks like. You have a lot of neutral shades, golds, browns, a little yellow one there. You have pinks and purples, you have a few red, and you have this sparkly black in the corner. I bought this one because I thought it was really pretty and I love the colors, and the color scheme is my style. I like to do fun colors, but sometimes I like to do something natural too. I know recently in my later years of doing makeup, meaning like these past maybe like 2 years, I've liked to start doing color now. So I like experimenting with colors, as opposed to when I first started doing makeup, I only liked doing like golds and yellows and browns because my mother said that I'm too pale to wear colorful colors. So I had to continue to wear those colors because I figured that would make her happy and that would make me happy. But now, fuck that. I'm older now. I can wear what I want. I can do what I want. And I want to experiment with colors, so I'm going to do that. My next palette that I got as a gift, this was my very first Jeffree Star palette. Now I know there's a lot of controversy with him. I know there's a lot of things going on around him and his life and everything. But what I can tell you is this man knows how to make makeup. It is very expensive makeup, but he knows how to make makeup. And he does a beautiful and flawless job. He did a collab with Morphe a while back. I don't think you can purchase this on the Morphe website anymore. I don't think you can purchase it on Ulta anymore. So Nick got me this palette when I was in the process of doing my certified home health aide license. And because I passed the test and because everything went really well, he bought me this palette. And I remember going in the store with him, he grabbed it out of my hands, he went to the register and he got it for me. And I was in tears because he knew how much I wanted a palette from him. So he bought me this palette and it melted my heart. And I haven't really used it in a very long time, which makes me a little disappointed. So I might have to start dipping into this one again. So this is what it looks like. It's a lot of matte shades. And then there's some shimmers at the bottom, as you can see, which I have dipped into. There are a lot of pinks because pink is his favorite color. As you can see from the packaging, pink is his favorite color. So there's a lot of neutral shades. There's a lot of pinks in here. There's a very shimmery shades. And then there's the last row that's got some greens and browns and a black. So I thought this palette is pretty. It's still one of my tried and trues, one of my favorites. When I first got this palette, I used to use it all the time. And this was like my go-to palette because I could do a natural look with it. I could do a funky colored look with it. I could do everything with it. If I can find it somewhere, I'll link it for you guys. And if you want to purchase it, I would recommend it. It was a really good palette. For somebody who wants like a palette that's a little more versatile, I would recommend this one. I would highly recommend this one. Now on to the fun part. So I decided to buy an off-brand mystery box for Jeffree Star. This was not an actual mystery box. This was just some cheap Japan crap that I found online. I would highly recommend looking into what you buy before you buy it, because I didn't. And I ended up getting a knockoff Kiss Crown palette, which is supposed to be like, I guess, a dupe for Jeffree Star's Jawbreaker palette. This palette is by Kiss Crown, and it is 24 shade palette, and it looks like this. It is a lot of shimmers. There's a few mattes in there. The only reason why I know this is not a Jeffree Star palette is because Jeffree Star does not put his emblem on every single pan. This palette has gotten some love out of it though. I did use it. Be very wary about using things because sometimes it might not work out for your skin like it does for others. For me, this palette happened to work very decently for me. I just don't go for it much anymore because, as you can see, there's a lot of vibrant colors. You got purples, pinks, reds, orange, blue, some white shades. You got multiple different shades in this palette. So you can do whatever you wanted with this palette, but I just don't use it that much and I don't reach for it that much anymore because these shades are too like out there for me. And a lot of my summer clothes are, funny enough, blue, which I don't understand why, but that's just what it is. A lot of my outfits are blue. So to try to match all of my outfits, I can pretty much use one palette that I have here that I will show you. That's that palette. Another palette that is also a controversial topic that I love this palette regardless is the Conspiracy palette. This is Jeffree Star's collab with Shane Dawson. I bought this. Did I buy this? Or did I get it in a mystery box? Maybe I got it in a mystery box? I think I got it in a mystery box. In total, I have purchased about 3 or 4 mystery boxes from Jeffree Star. I think it was 3. I got 3 mystery boxes, and I believe the Conspiracy palette came in one of my mystery boxes. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was the case. In this palette, you have a lot of browns, you have some whites, you have some pinks, you have silver, you have green, blue, red, orange, and yellow. This is a very like wow out there palette, but the quality is really good. Now, I know Shane and Jeffree are not really like the best people to talk about right now. I used to love Shane Dawson when I was in middle school and even high school. I loved this guy to the end of the earth, and then all this drama came about on the internet, and I had to basically put that aside because I didn't want that to conflict with my love of makeup and the brand and the quality of it. So I'm not very happy with either one of them right now, but I can respect a good quality product when I have it. And this is a really good quality product. That is that. Not only do I have the Conspiracy palette, but when the first drop of the collab came, I bought the mini, which was the only one I could purchase besides the lipsticks. So they came out with 2 versions of the mini, and this is the first mini that I bought. I did not purchase the second mini. I really didn't care to purchase it. I was happy with the first one. So this is what the first one looks like. It is not a lot. There's like the top row is like the lighter neutral shades. This is like a more off-white. You got the purple, the maroon color, the light pink, the 2 blues, and then the brown. This is like a really good palette for like if you want to do something quick and on the go and you want to add a little pop of color, I guess. Do you, girl, you do you. But it is a really good quality product, and I would recommend it if you don't want to spend that much money on the Conspiracy palette, because Jeffree Star's bigger palettes cost a lot of money. So if you don't want to break the bank and you want to spend a little bit of money, I would recommend this one. My next mini purchase that I got was the Mini Orgy palette that Jeffree Star dropped. Now this palette is like mostly shimmers, and they are all like golden and browns. You got that pink one right there in the middle, that white one in the corner. You could use these for highlight if you really wanted to, because most of these are shimmers. Actually, no, all of them are shimmers. So, you know, you could use these for highlighter if you wanted to. You could use these to put a little pop of color in your eyes. You can use this if you want to do some kind of a neutral look. But this is a really good quality product too. There was some controversy going around about this palette. One of the palettes ended up being bad, and they ended up sending them all out. They were supposed to resend the palettes to everybody. I got 2 emails saying they were going to resend them, and they never did. But that's okay, because I got this one, and this one works relatively well for me. Again, if you do not want to break the bank spending money on a Jeffree Star palette and you want to try it out, try these. They're relatively good. The quality's fantastic. And you're not going to break the bank as much with these minis as opposed to a bigger one. With that being said, we're going on to the next Jeffree Star palette. I purchased Cremated when it first came out. Actually, maybe a little bit after. I was very reluctant to get it because, if you can't already tell, the shades are all black and white and gray. I know at this point I forgot to tell you guys how many shadows were in the pans, but if you want to do that, just pause it and look and count them. Yeah, you got your blacks, you have your grays, and then you have your whites, and then you have your silvers. And this is a really good palette if you just want to do something dark and vampy. If that's your style, if you want to go out to the club and you want to look hot shit, this is a good palette to have, because a lot of girls like to go into the club with dark ass makeup. If you want to show up at the fucking funeral looking bomb, go for it. Like, a lot of controversy went on about this palette too, but this is still a really good quality eyeshadow palette. And I don't really go for it that much because I really don't use blacks and grays and silvers that much. But when I do, this is a good palette to have for that. My next palette, which is my second Jeffree Star palette that I own, is the Blood Sugar palette. Nick got this for me for my birthday. My first birthday that I spent with Nick. He purchased this palette for me for my birthday. I was almost in tears because of how happy I was to get this palette, because of all the Sugar Family products, this was the one I wanted the most. At the time, again, I had red hair, so you can tell that there's reds, and there's gold, and there's pinks, and there's whites. There's a little bit of purple in there. I have used this quite a bit. As you can tell, I have made quite a dent in that pink shade there. I have also used some of these on the bottom. I just used one of these reds for my red, white, and blue look for 4th of July this past weekend. Also, if you are watching this, I hope you had a wonderful 4th of July weekend. And yeah, Nick got me this palette and I've loved it ever since he bought it for me. My next palette is the Blue Blood palette. So this palette I got in a mystery box, and at first I wasn't gonna keep it, but I was like, you know what? I actually like it, so I'm gonna keep it. And I have used it quite a bit since I've gotten it, because as I told you, I have been wearing a lot of blue things for the summer. I have a lot of blue clothing for the summer. I don't know why, but I do. And because I do, I've been using this palette a lot. And I love the colors. I've hit pan on, well, I didn't hit pan, but I've used quite a bit of them. Mainly these shades all around here. I've used quite a bit. And I love them. They all work very well. And if you're the kind of person that likes colors, mainly blues, this is a good palette to have. The next palette that I'm going to show you, which you all probably know because I got this in my recent unboxing video that I showed. I remember having a hard time opening it the first time I got it too. It was the Blood Money palette. I have not used it much since I got it, but the colors are very pretty. All greens with a little touch of gold and that sparkly black on the corner there. But these are really good quality shadows, and the palette is beautiful. And at first, just like the Blue Bloods palette, I wasn't going to keep it, but then I decided at the last minute I'm gonna keep it, because why not? It's a nice ass palette. I'm gonna keep it. Plus, what's kind of funny is that there's a scale on the back. I'm a Libra. Libras are represented by a scale. So how neat is that? Anyway, I'm moving forward. If I can ever get this back in the box. Got it. Get it? Got it. Good. Got it. On to the next one. My next palette in the Blood Sugar series is the Bloodlust palette. I got this when the palette first dropped. I had to have it. I loved all the colors in here, and I have used this one quite a bit. It is mostly purples with a few pinks. You've got a green in there. You got that blacky pink shade there, and then you got a red shade in there, and a white at the top. And this is a very beautiful palette. Like, if you are like me and you have purple hair, or you wear a lot of purple and you just want to have something purple, I would highly recommend this palette. It is a beautiful palette. I ended up giving the other palette because in another mystery box, one of the 3 mystery boxes that I got another one of these, and I gave the second palette to a friend. So I ended up keeping one, I gave one away. My next palette that I have is the Mauves by Juvia's Palace. Either way, it's a good brand. And I got this as a gift, I believe last year, either for my birthday or for Christmas, from a friend of mine. And it's a 6-shade palette, relatively small, you know. The shades are very good. I've really only dipped into the shimmery shades. I haven't tried out the matte ones yet, but from the shimmery shades, I can say the product and the quality of the palette is very good. This is also a relatively inexpensive brand too. You can purchase this at Ulta if you wanted, or on the website, of course. I actually used to work with Juvia's niece. So it was really cool to find out that I worked with somebody that was related to this brand. I thought it was really cool. I know Nikki Tutorials would rant and rave about Juvia's Place, so I know it's a good brand now that I have it. Now if I could just get it back in the box. Get it? Got it? Good. Done. My next two palettes are from ColourPop again. I got these both as a gift. I believe, again, I think these were for my birthday. I could be wrong. I think it was my birthday, I'm pretty sure. I have so many palettes that it's so hard to remember where I got each and every single one from. But I got these as a gift from the same friend that actually got me the Juvia's Place palette. So this is the Sweet Talk Pressed Powder palette. So there is 12 shades in here. Now, the issue that I have with this palette, I have to hold it very gently because this shade right here in the top row has had a tendency of falling out on me multiple times. I don't know if it's the way they package the shades, but you know, me personally, I'm not a fan of a shade falling out of a palette. So I've used this palette. I do like the shades. I think they're very pretty. I don't like that one shade keeps falling out of the palette, but I had to sit there and like press it in there one day, and I just try to be very gentle with it because I don't want it to fall out. And this is a really good palette. Again, ColourPop is a very inexpensive brand. If you're willing to, you know, dish out a little bit of money, it is not expensive. And this is a really nice, like shimmery, like neutral palette with like peaches and pale colors and your pops of gold and orangey, like copper color, and it's a really nice palette. I would highly recommend it if you're the kind of person that does not like to experiment with color. It's that one. Then we have the Making Mauves palette. I see a pattern with these colors. She bought me a purpley palette before, and then this is she bought this one first, and then she got me the Juvia's Place one. So it's kind of funny how we've gone to purples. The other issue that I have with this one as well is I did not do that to the palette. When I opened it up, that's what happened to it. So I don't know if that's just the way they packaged it or when they put it on the shelf, maybe it fell on the ground. I don't know. But like these shimmery shades are very fragile. They break very easy. So just be very mindful of that when you purchase these palettes. Make sure you look when you purchase them and just keep an eye out and make sure that they don't fall out of the pan, because I'm pretty sure it hasn't fallen out of the pan, but you can see that pan there is a little messed up. But other than that, it's a very good quality palette. It is a 9-shade palette. I think it's really nice. The color is nice and purple and all that. My next palette is the Laura Lee Los Angeles Nudie Patootie palette. I purchased this in the same haul that I purchased the flower palette and the other palette. So I have used this one already a few times, and I do love the colors. It is a very pretty palette. It has a lot of obviously like nude colors, neutrals. You have your shimmers down here at the bottom, and it's just very pretty. Like you got a few like pink colors, but most of these colors are very neutral, hence the term Nudie Patootie. It's like a more nude palette, like nude being natural and more like everyday wear kind of palette, and I do enjoy this palette very much. I've used it a few times since buying it. And then lastly, in my palettes, we have the Naked Urban Decay Honey palette. I purchased this palette for my girlfriend Courtney. She collects these Urban Decay Naked palettes, and for Christmas a year or so, maybe 2-3 years, I got her this palette for Christmas. And then this past year or so, I saw that the palettes were going on sale, and I said, ooh, let me buy it. I like the colors. I think they're very pretty. You have a lot of like golds and browns, copper colors. You got your creamy colors here on the side. I thought it was relatively nice. And, you know, goes back to my mother always telling me wear browns, wear golds and stuff like that. They go good with your skin color. They look go good with your eyes. Meanwhile, I have blue contacts in right now. So yeah, that's that. But that's all my palettes that I have, guys. And I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you turn your notifications on so you know when and what time I will be posting. Comment below if you have any ideas of what else you would like to see. If you would like to see me put makeup on again, or I have a whole bunch of liquid lipsticks and just lipsticks in general. If you would like to see like more of my makeup, lipsticks and everything, please let me know. I collect a lot of eyeshadow palettes and I collect a lot of liquid lips. So if you want to see them, please let me know. I am wearing Cherry Wet from Jeffree Star. So if you're wondering what's on my lips, that's what's on my lips. And yeah, guys, I hope you have a wonderful night and enjoy the rest of your week. If you're watching this on the weekend, enjoy your weekend. And yeah, I will talk to you guys and see you guys soon. Bye. Mwah.